Robert F. Kennedy, or Bobby as he was affectionately known, was more than just a politician. He was a symbol of hope in a time of immense social and political upheaval. Born into the influential Kennedy family, RFK was no stranger to power and privilege. Yet, he chose to dedicate his life to fighting for the marginalized and advocating for social justice. As Attorney General under his brother, President John F. Kennedy, RFK took a firm stance against organized crime and racial discrimination. He championed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, understanding that true equality demanded more than just words on paper. It required action, empathy, and a commitment to dismantling systemic barriers. RFK's compassion and unwavering belief in the power of unity resonated with millions of Americans. He possessed a rare ability to connect with people from all walks of life, inspiring them to believe in a better tomorrow. His words, imbued with passion and conviction, ignited a fire for change in the hearts of a generation yearning for a more just and equitable society. The 1960s in America were a period of profound transformation and unrest. The Vietnam War raged on, casting a long shadow over the nation. Civil rights protests, met with often brutal resistance, illuminated the deep-seated racial tensions plaguing American society. Amidst this tumult, RFK emerged as a voice of reason and a beacon of hope. He understood the frustrations of a generation grappling with injustice and inequality. He spoke out against the Vietnam War, advocating for peace and diplomacy. He embraced the civil rights movement, recognizing the urgent need for racial equality and social justice. RFK challenged the status quo, urging Americans to confront the uncomfortable truths about their nation. He called for a more compassionate and equitable society, one that valued peace, justice, and opportunity for all. His message resonated particularly with young people and marginalized communities who saw in him a leader willing to fight for their rights and aspirations. June 5, 1968. The air crackled with anticipation at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Robert F. Kennedy, riding high on a wave of momentum from his victory in the California Democratic presidential primary, was poised to address his jubilant supporters. The atmosphere was electric, charged with the hope and optimism that RFK so effortlessly inspired. After delivering a stirring speech, RFK made his way through the hotel kitchen, shaking hands and acknowledging the cheers of well-wishers. The path was crowded, a sea of faces eager to catch a glimpse of the man who embodied their dreams for a brighter future. Suddenly, chaos erupted. Gunshots rang out, piercing the celebratory air. Pandemonium ensued as people screamed, ducked for cover, and scrambled for safety. In the blink of an eye, the joyous atmosphere transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror. In the aftermath of the shooting, confusion and grief reigned. Robert F. Kennedy, the man who had promised to heal a nation, lay mortally wounded. He was rushed to the hospital where, despite the best efforts of medical professionals, he succumbed to his injuries hours later. The alleged gunman, a 24-year-old Palestinian immigrant named Sirhan, was apprehended at the scene. Witnesses claimed to have seen Sirhan fire a handgun at close range, striking RFK multiple times. The official investigation concluded that Sirhan, acting alone, had assassinated Robert F. Kennedy. The motive, they claimed, stemmed from Sirhan's anger over RFK's support for Israel. Sirhan was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. The case, it seemed, was closed. Shadows of doubt, unanswered questions, and conflicting accounts. While the official narrative provided a seemingly straightforward explanation for RFK's assassination, inconsistencies and unanswered questions lingered. Eyewitness accounts varied wildly, with some claiming to have seen Sirhan too far away from RFK to have inflicted the fatal wounds. The number of shots fired also remained a point of contention. Some witnesses reported hearing as many as 12 shots, while Sirhan's revolver held only 8 bullets. This discrepancy fueled speculation that a second gunman, perhaps a more skilled marksman, had been involved in the assassination. Adding to the mystery, The LAPD destroyed crucial evidence, including the door frame riddled with bullet holes, fueling suspicion and making it impossible to definitively reconstruct the events of that fateful night. Whispers of conspiracy, the search for a second gunman. The inconsistencies in the official narrative, combined with the destruction of evidence, provided fertile ground for conspiracy theories. Some researchers pointed to the presence of numerous CIA operatives at the Ambassador Hotel on the night of the assassination, suggesting a possible motive for the agency to silence RFK, who had become a vocal critic of the Vietnam War. Others claimed that RFK's staunch support for organized labor and his efforts to combat organized crime had made him powerful enemies who might have sought to eliminate him. The possibility of a second gunman, firing from a different location, gained traction as witnesses came forward, claiming to have seen someone matching the description of a security guard acting suspiciously. Despite numerous investigations and independent inquiries, no conclusive evidence has ever emerged to definitively prove the existence of a second gunman. However, the lingering questions and unanswered questions continue to fuel speculation and cast a long shadow over the official narrative. A legacy interrupted the enduring impact of RFK's assassination. The assassination of Robert F. Kennedy sent shockwaves throughout the nation and the world. It was a devastating blow to the hope and idealism he represented. Coming just 5 years after the assassination of his brother, President John F. Kennedy, RFK's death left many Americans feeling disillusioned and questioning the very fabric of their democracy. Despite his life being cut tragically short, RFK's legacy continues to inspire generations of activists, politicians, and ordinary citizens to fight for a more just and equitable world. His words, imbued with compassion and conviction, resonate as powerfully today as they did decades ago. The quest for truth, unraveling the mysteries that remain. Over 50 years after Robert F. Kennedy's assassination, the quest for truth continues. Researchers, journalists, and amateur sleuths pore over witness testimonies, ballistic reports, and declassified government documents, searching for answers that have remained elusive for decades. While the official narrative points to Sirhan as the lone gunman, doubts persist. The inconsistencies in eyewitness accounts, the possibility of a second shooter, and the destruction of crucial evidence continue to fuel speculation and demands for a more thorough investigation. The assassination of Robert F. Kennedy stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the enduring power of hope in the face of tragedy. It is a story that continues to captivate and haunt us, urging us to never stop questioning, never stop seeking the truth, and never stop fighting for the ideals that RFK so valiantly championed.